From Channels Television. You see what is happening. We did tell you that the 10th edition of the Nigerian map has been altered 5 times between 2004 and 2008. That's what we said. And then we did say that the NBC has some high-ranking officials that are colluding with some government agencies to manipulate the territories of Nigeria so that only one state would have all the oil wells, with the other state from which it was carved out having zero as at now. What they are doing is that the territorial map of Nigeria, in the quest of this evil they are trying to do, they are trying to perpetrate, the territorial boundaries of Nigeria have been altered. They have altered about over 780 hectares by these personal corrupt practices that are trying to perpetrate. They have altered over 780 hectares of Nigerian territorial waters, not because of the ruling of the International Court that we ceded the Bakassi side to Cameroon. No, they decided to alter the map, arrange it in a manner that is going to suit only Akwa Ibom State. Where do we go from here? I want to bring the trajectory of state creation in Nigeria to you. Edo State, the old Bende State, from where Delta State was created, we now had Delta State and we now had Edo State. If Delta State was greedy, if Delta State had the intention of perpetrating such evils as this, Edo State would not have been recognized as an oil-producing state. But they used political settlement. They resolved it amicably as brothers, and then decided to cede some oil wealth to Edo State. And that is why today, Edo State is one of the oil-producing states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And it gets 13% derivation fund. But here, we are talking about a clandestine arrangement. We are talking about corrupt officials, high-ranking corrupt officials, both retired and serving, of the NDC, who have ill-advised the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. They told lies to Mr. President. Now, it is our duty as civil rights organization to point out these lies and make Nigeria become a reasonable state. How can you say that the Cross River State that used to have over 1,000 oil wells, as of today we are sitting here, by that manipulation, by that alteration and distortion of the Nigerian territorial boundary, Cross River State has zero. I'm saying zero oil well. Zero. In other words, 13% derivation fund. And we are saying that this is a clandestine act. We cannot allow it to stand. Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief, with the renewed hope agenda, we believe Mr. President means well for Nigeria. And he cannot allow this evil. He cannot allow this evil to stand. So we are saying that this evil must be corrected with immediate effect. And the perpetrators of this heinous crime in the office of the NBC, both retired and serving, must be arrested and prosecuted. We are employing the EFCC and the Department for State Security Services to swing into action to arrest perpetrators, those who have truncated Nigeria, those who have altered the map. You see, what they are doing is that they have aligned the map in a way that a lot of the water, the waterways, a lot of over 780 hectares of the waterfront have been dashed. That is, given to Cameroon. Why? Because they want to block Cross River State from having a fair share. This is info that has never been seen in the history of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And we cannot, as Nigerian citizens, we cannot allow this to stand. Mr. President must be told the truth, the way it stands, and the right thing must be done. Cross River State is treated unfairly, and for that reason, every like mind, every civil society person, every journalist must speak the truth, must speak truth to power, and we must tell Mr. President the truth of what these people are doing and what they are perpetrating. Thank you. If you watched the proceeding, I think one of the sittings took place on Thursday. The committee was doing its work. And when it got to that time when they had to use the 10th edition of the map, some people started violence. Some people distorted and disorganized the meeting, not knowing that hoodlums have been planted there to disorganize the meeting so that Mr. President will not know what is happening. Let me tell you something. This is an orchestrated plan to ensure that Cross River State does not get its rightful share of oil wells in Nigeria. It's not just Cross River State that is going to bear the brunt. The Nigerian state, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is going to lose over 780 hectares of its territorial water boundaries. As in, Cameroon is not asking for it, but our greed, our corruption is like asking Cameroon to take. That is evil that we have never seen before. If not for anything, this is the time Mr. President has to prove to Nigerians that the Renew Hope agenda is real. Because this evil is an orchestrated and well-planned, well-funded, and they are manipulating the system to suit themselves. Now, if this 2008 edition of distorted map, this lies, the 2008 distorted map, if that map is allowed to stand, the risk is not only for Cross River State. The risk is that Nigeria is going to lose over 780 hectares of the territorial water boundaries. Then Cross River State is also going to lose over 78 oil wells that is genuinely on the space, the land mark for Cross River State. So what these people are doing is that they're trying to, by this distorted map, they have shut up the entire Calabar Basin. What it means is that the deep sea, the deep blue sea, Calabar that is open to the Atlantic Ocean, open to the deep sea, is now shut out. There is nothing like that anymore. You see, the truth must be said. You see, this thing is an arranged, well-funded. It is well-funded. Don't be surprised that somebody will come and say that our group is saying something that is just is nonsense. We are not scared of that. But we must stand by the truth that this alignment, these lies must not continue. This evil advice to Mr. President will not continue because we know Mr. President and Commander in Chief, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, means well for Nigeria. We know he's going to reverse this evil in the shortest, quickest possible time. We are also asking for the arrest of the perpetrators by the DSS and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, because this is a financial crime and it's also an offense against the nation state of Nigeria. In the media.
My name is Andy. I work for Global Television.
Okay, Andy from Global Television. You see, what has happened is that These people went to court based on a manipulated map, the evil map for which they have already distorted the territorial boundaries of Nigeria. In other words, the 10th edition of the authentic map of the territorial waters of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was not used. They used the map for which they have manipulated in conjunction with some corrupt officials of the NBC. Not all of NBC staff are corrupt. Some elements there are corrupt, collecting money to adjust borders, adjust boundaries, so that it will favor some states. How do you expect a state? Let me tell you, we know about oil companies citing the operational headquarters anywhere they didn't fit, and taxes go to those states. Meanwhile, where they are doing some of the drillings, where they are doing picking the oil and they're doing the what do they call it, the exploration, is different from. So the fact that you don't have some distance, those domicile in the cross river does not is not what we're talking about. Some of those oil wells have not been touched at all. It has not been, there's no exploration yet. These are fresh oil wells that we're about to lose. We're losing both the oil wells. We're going to also lose at the territorial borders of Nigeria. We know the pains. A state that was having over 1,000 oil wells, and suddenly you just say zero oil wells. How does it sound? Any right thinking man, any person that means well for Nigeria will know that there is something wrong here. If Delta State was to remain in this manner, Edo State wouldn't have even been recognized as an oil producing state at all. How about Bayelsa and Rivers? They settled amicably. Okay. How about Imo State and Abia State? Abia was carved out of the old Imo. And yet, most of the oil wells is situated in Abia State. But based on political understanding, and diplomatic ties as brothers, they made it in a manner that the two states are recognized as oil producing. Why is the case of Akwa Ibom different? That's our question. Why is it different? You have eyes, you don't see. People are perpetrating evil in Nigeria, and we cannot allow that to stand. And Mr. President must know the truth. Thank you. This is a coalition for the protection of democracy in Nigeria. And today, we want to brief you on a very pertinent matter that is threatening the territorial boundary of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The lies, the intrigues, and some findings we've made. So we're also advising Mr. President and Nigerians to know what is happening, because we cannot just be quiet because we want to be good citizens. When we see things that are clandestine, things that are not fair to the Nigerian state, we must be vocal enough. Um, be we must be seen to be pivotal to anything that will make Nigeria stable and a good nation. So my name is Dr. Nwambu Gabriel. I'm the coordinator, the convener for the Coalition for the Protection of Democracy in Nigeria. We address the press and the Nigerian public today on a matter of great national security, the systematic and illegal manipulation of Nigerians' internal and international boundaries by corrupt elements with the National Boundary Commission, NBC. While historic state creation, such as the emergence of Delta from the old Wendell state, and Bayelsa from Rivers State were marked by amicable settlements and shared prosperity, and current situation regarding the Akwa Ibom and Cross River State boundary is dangerous departure from democratic norms. We have uncovered a web of administrative treason, that treason to cede Nigerian sovereignty to the Republic of Cameroon for the sake of localized greed. Number one, the forgery of the 10th edition administrative map of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The 10th edition of the administrative map of Nigeria is the legal source of truth for our nation, Nigeria. We have evidence that between 2004 and 2008, this document was clandestinely distorted 5 times. It was clandestinely distorted 5 times, orchestrated by vested interests in Akwa Ibom in collusion with high-ranking officials of the NBC. These changes were made without the knowledge or consent of Cross River State. The collusion is between the NBC and the high-ranking, some high-ranking officers, both retired and serving. Some of them are retired now, but they participated in this clandestine, distortion of the Nigerian territory just for selfish gains. Marine blockage. These distortions have effectively closed the mouth of the Sea of the Calabar Basin, a vital navigational route protected since the 1913 Anglo-German Agreement. Economic sabotage. By shifting coordinates on paper, over 76 oil wells belonging to Cross River State have been diverted to Akwa Ibom State. Today, the Calabar, today, the Calabar geological flank, historically rich with over 1,000 oil wells, is officially attributed to zero. I mean zero for the entire Cross River State. Stripping Cross River State of its rightful derivations. The Cameroon threat, 780 hectares at risk. This is not merely an internal squabble. It is a national security and a national security crisis. By distorting the 2008 dichotomy map to maximize oil wells attributed to Akwa Ibom State, the NBC has inadvertently shifted Nigeria's international maritime front, a self-inflicted wound. If this distorted map is allowed to stand, Nigeria will lose approximately 780 hectares of territorial waters and at least 28 oil wells to the Republic of Cameroon. This loss will not be, is not as a result of the International Court at The Hague. It's not as a result of the ICJ's ruling on Bakassi, but it is because of this internal fraud we are trying to bring to bear here. The new Ogoniland prophecy. We warn the nation today, Cross River State is being positioned to become the new Ogoniland. While the revenue is diverted elsewhere, the environmental hazard of exploration, oil spills, and gas flaring do not respect these forged administrative lines. Cross River will bear the ecological units and the ecological brunt of pollution for the next 40 years with zero financial resources to mitigate these damages. Our demand to Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Center for the Protection of Human Rights and the Center for the Protection of Democracy in Nigeria refuses to stand while civil servants deceive the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces and compromise the nation's borders. We hereby call on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to take the following decisive steps. One, approve the immediate demarcation of the Nigerian international maritime boundaries between Nigeria, Cameroon, Equatorial Guinea, and realignment of the Nigerian maritime boundary with the ICJ and Green Tree Agreement GTA negotiated map. Two, approve the recovery of 700 hectares of maritime waters and over 28 oil wells located within the Nigerian transboundary reservoirs continuity in the Cross River estuary elongated continental shelf with Cameroon. Number three, that the president should ensure the arrest and prosecution of some persons. The president, by this medium, is advised to order the DSS, the EFCC to immediately arrest and prosecute the retired and serving officials of the National Boundary Commission who orchestrated the 2004 to 2008 oil dichotomy study model maps that are distorted. Number four, nullification of the 2008 map. Immediately discard the dichotomy map of 2008 and revert to the authentic 10th edition coordinates that recognizes Cross River State littoral status. Five, reconstitution of the RAFTEC Interagency Committee. Replace the current committee with a body that reflects true equity and fairness, ensuring Cross Rivers representation. Six, protect Nigerian waters. By this medium, we also advise the president to halt any internal demarcations that result in the loss of Nigerian territory to Cameroon. In conclusion, Nigerian boundaries are not for sale. The sovereignty of coordinates must be upheld to protect our collective future. We give the federal government a 14-day ultimatum to address these grievances, failing which the coalition would mobilize for sustained civil action to reclaim the stolen heritage of the Cross River people. Thank you.